Callum Mundo Smith.
Carlos. Gents, you both know the rules. I expect a clean fight. Remember to obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Thank you.
Well, what a treat this is. A former world champion, a legend, Barry Jones, on before the bell.
Absolutely crazy, isn't it? First on. Callum
For the first round.
Yeah, Callum Smith back in action after that defeat to Artur Beterbiev back in January. Looking to get back to winning ways, and I like what I heard from him, Barry, at the press conference, saying he had some time to settle down and sort of digest what happened, and he still believes he's got enough to be a two-weight world champion.
He's technically really, really good. I think he's in his natural weight. How he made super middleweight still, baffles me, and always will. But he's still, the two fighters above him that are clear. The two fighters at the very, very top are still too good for all of them right now. I would say that much. But he's in that leading pack of all the others, and just domestically, there's some great fights for him. Obviously, Anthony Yard and Boazzi are always the names that are mentioned, and rightly so.
He's in there with Carlos Galvan from Colombia, 20 wins, 14 losses, and Shabazz. I'm sure you've watched a great deal of Callum Smith in the past. It's so great to see him back in action.
Yeah, he's an amazing fighter, and honestly, sat here watching him, you can see why he's done so much in the sport already.
Yeah, he just doesn't waste anything, does he? Arguably the best counter left hook in boxing. A beautiful shot, throws it so well, but so calculated, so educated, working behind the jab. And look, he'll be looking to dust off the cobwebs, maybe take a few rounds, but he'll be looking to get Galvin out of there, no doubt, and really push on to big fights. I heard a name mentioned, which I think we'll all agree is a huge fight, and a fight we'd love to see. Joshua Boazzi. Talk to me about that one, lads.
That's a great fight, isn't it? It really is. The Boazzi, at last, all that talent that he's had, but at last showing that little bit of rawness, of aggression that we needed to see out of him. I think we saw that a little bit in his last fight, and that makes that him and Callum Smith now, especially where they are in their careers, a really tasty prospect.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a great fight, especially for the British fans. We need them kind of fights, and definitely.
Yeah, boxing nice. Callum Smith just taking his time, showing us a bit of variation. Galvan not really looking to engage, trying to stay out of the way. And I don't blame him, if I'm honest. We've seen the power that Smith has carried since he moved up to light heavyweight.
Beautiful feint. Lovely.
He just takes his time, doesn't he, Smith? That's what's impressive about him. Just takes his time. That's for any young pro to watch. You're not going to rush your work. As long as your technique's good and your distance is in the correct distance, then you can take your time.
How do you think you'd be feeling, Barry, fighting first on the card after fighting some of the biggest names in boxing?
No, he won't care. I think beforehand he wouldn't have been too happy about it for sure. But you've got to get back out.
Yeah, there is Carlos Galvan.
Corners 10 seconds.
Now based in Barcelona, Spain. It's so great to see
Seconds
brothers
out, round 2.
Liam, Stephen and Paul in the corner of Callum. What an unbelievable family. The story's incredible, and that's a film in the making, no doubt.
And Paul's son just won a national title in the amateurs as well. It's just never ending, isn't it?
Absolutely remarkable. He's come out here. Far more aggression now, Callum Smith. He had a little look. Maybe he has dusted off those cobwebs. early in that first round.
Well, he's got
a business here, Barry.
Sorry, mate. He's got to force Galvan out of his shell, hasn't he? That's, I think, by just upping the tempo a little bit, just putting more weight behind the shots, will maybe do that.
Beautiful guard as well. Very good defence as well.
I don't think he'll mind this, Callum Smith, Shabazz.
Yeah, I can see a catch counter coming there.
Yeah.
He's doing that. Beautiful.
Well, he got such long arms, haven't he, Smith, that he tucks those elbows in tight and sort of cups those gloves around the side of his head. There isn't a target to hit clean, unless you have the power of a Beterbiev, that you could punch through those gloves.
There was a nice flurry from Galvan, trying to force his way into the contest, but you see the difference when Callum Smith lets his shots go. Thudding, powerful, thoughtful shots. But again, good pressure from the Colombian.
Yeah, but he's allowing the pressure here, Smith. He wants Galvan to throw, because there's gap when he throws, then there's going to be a gap, isn't it, that he can maybe counter off.
100% there, Barry. I think he's trying to draw him on there. Little catch counter could be there.
I'll talk about that power of Callum Smith, the knockout of Matteo Bordelic, and the knockout against Lenin Castillo at White Hart Lane on the AJ Usyk undercard. That was a frightening knockout. Castillo almost having a fit on the canvas after taking a thunderous shot.
Just landed a nice little short right hand a few seconds ago there, Smith. Just made Galvan blink a little bit. Just put him back in the defensive mode.
I think it'll be good if he goes back down to the body. Probably set up a headshot after it.
And just combination punches, that's the difference. That'll do it, and finish with the last one with a bit of a whip.
Yeah, there is 9 stoppages from the 14 defeats. And usually, from what I've seen of Galvan, it's pressure, it's pace that makes him wilt. So I'm sure as this fight progresses, you start seeing Callum Smith go through the gears. Has got 8 rounds here this evening.
And I think he'll want to go a few rounds here, Smith. I'm not saying he's guaranteed he's going to get this kid out of here, though you would bet a few quid on it, wouldn't you, to be honest? But I think he wants to do a few rounds.
The ideal scenario, a stoppage in around 6-7.
Yeah, he probably won't want to go that long, but I think he'll just get the ring rest off.
Yeah, great to see him back, Callum Smith.
Corners 10 seconds.
We've missed him. And I'm sure with the ambition that he was talking about at Thursday's press conference, there are definitely big nights left for the Liverpudlian. We're into round 3 we go.
You also got to be thinking, if Beterbiev and Bivol do fight in February, get that rematch, then those belts will fragment. Then there's an opportunity for him to pick up another world title, and obviously then for him, that's his career signed off, isn't it? He's earned a lot of money, 2-weight world champion, something that he's always wanted to do. Better his brother Liam. I bet you there's a rivalry in that family for sure. The fact that they've all boxed for world titles is just
Crazy.
astounding.
All top fighters as well. Beautiful body shot.
Yeah, he's starting to sit down on the shots now. Galvan bravely fighting back.
Beautiful body work. Beautiful.
He's always been a good inside fighter, hasn't he? For such a big, tall guy, especially at super middleweight, how he fought so close to the target was almost. Why would you want to? But then when you seen how well he did it, you could understand why.
The way he slides the uppercut through the middle, and he'll just drop the left or the right to the body with such ease. If someone who's so tall with the long arms that he has, yeah, he just manages to find a space really, really well.
Beautiful.
Oh, there's a nice sickening left to the body there.
Lovely. you know what, for such a tall guy as well, a lot of people would usually think he's in a box on the outside. Keep it long, but like you said before, he loves it in close. One of his best attributes.
And you'll know, Shabazz, as well, I think variation's so key in this sport. You know, you can't be predictable. You've got to mix it up. And it really does throw you. And looking for that left hook there. Callum Smith just missing with that shot, but that's his honey punch there.
Having a go though here, Galvan. That's good to see, isn't it? Trying to push Smith back here. Nothing on his punches, but he's trying to work away.
Yeah, he's been in with some good company. Galvan, Janibek, Caleb Plant, Willie Monroe Jr., 20-0 American Carlos Monroe.
Nice, beautiful. Love that stab to the body there. Yeah. Slowing him down. Getting his measure as well.
It does take time, you know, when you've been out the ring for a little while, to find that timing, to find that distance. You can do all the sparring in the world, but in that ring with the 10-ounce gloves on, it does take a little while, doesn't it?
I don't think he's any panicky. I think he got his judgment of the distance quite early, quite well. But I think he's just looking for that. He just looks for that one shot, doesn't he? He must have one clean shot that puts him down.
Yeah, not seen too many jabs, not much variation with the shot, but yeah, just going through the gears at the minute.
Beautiful.
There's that left hook. You just see the legs, yeah. You just see the legs for a second of Galvan just stiffen ever so slightly.
That's a beautiful body shot there from Smith. And the takeman back there from Galvan, but then that was that left hook there, just lifted the leg, just stiffened the leg there of his opponent there, Callum Smith. Just slowly up in the pace a little bit in every round, a bit more weight beyond the shots, and Galvan starting to fray at the edges. That might be the opportunity for Smith to get that finishing combination or shot.
I would like to see him go to the body a little bit more though, because later on in the fight, it'll definitely pay his dues.
Corners 10 seconds. Seconds out, round 4.
We're into the fourth round we go. Carlos Galvan, he's trying, he's letting his hands go, he's trying to, at times, force the pace. Callum Smith, there's the shot that we haven't seen too much of this evening so far, but we have to be patient with Callum Smith. Been out the ring for almost a year. Wants to get back to winning ways and get back into the big fights again, get back in the mix. He strives for the big occasions. I mean, the names that he's been in with, Barry, I mean, he's been in with the lot.
Yeah, he's been in some big fights, haven't he? You know, not always gone his way, but I mean, some of them have, of course. You know, can't forget the Groves fight, of course, and some of the big occasions. That Rocky Fielding fight at that time, you know, in Liverpool, massive was a big deal.
Massive fight.
The tempo of Galvan just dropped a little. Is this the moment for Callum Smith to sort of up the gears? As I say, that just steps in with a double jab and a nice long right hook.
Yeah, he is slowing now.
And like I say, that usually seems to be the pattern from Galvan. From what I've seen, he starts fairly fast, and as the fight progresses, if he hasn't been able to get rid of his opponent, bearing in mind from his 20 wins, he does have 19 KOs.
Beautiful.
Lovely left to the body. Good work. He's not letting Galvan off the hook here. Callum Smith, again, just throwing that left hook, right uppercut, followed by the left to the body.
And he just used that shoulder just to create a bit of space as well, didn't he? Not allowing Galvan to hold on.
Nearly timed him again, coming in there. Beautiful.
Just trying to nullify the threat of the shots of Callum Smith. Galvan just by getting close. So impressive, the variation, Shabazz.
100%, man. Especially that uppercut. When he's in close, beautiful. To the body, to the head. Oh, he's got him.
And it was a high left hook on top of the head. Galvan takes a knee. He looks at us here at a commentary desk, gets to his feet. But Callum Smith, we know, a very, very good finisher. He's trying to hold on, he's trying to spoil the work of Callum Smith, Galvan.
Yeah, right, but you got 30 seconds, haven't you?
30 seconds, yeah.
Get back to the body.
Looking for that left hook again, but he's gamely fighting back, Galvan.
Yeah, Galvan landed with a good left hook there, didn't he? As Smith went to throw. Just looking again, trying to force him to come forward so he can get a clean shot of the target there, Smith.
Fair play to this Colombian.
Very
Takes
gritty.
a knee, yeah, very, very gritty indeed, Shabazz. The way he looks at us when he took that knee, I didn't think he was going to get back up, but finishing the round strong.
Just tapping with the left hook there over the top. It was a lovely, just double left hook there from Smith. Didn't look like loads on it, but I think the first one went right in the chin and just didn't see the one there on the temple as opposed to put him down. Yeah, the first one does the damage, the second one there just stood on the temple there, on the ear area. And
Okay, Galvin's obviously not seen too much of Callum Smith, I'm guessing, because anyone that fights Callum Smith, you just stick that right hand. If you're an orthodox, stick that right hand to the top of your head so you don't get caught with that left hook. But you've got to give this man credit here because he looked like the fight had been beaten out of him, but he finished the round strong.
10 seconds.
What is left of Galvin? And will this man here, Callum Smith,
Seconds out. Round 5.
like I say, a very good finisher. Will he get the job done within the distance?
Gone southpaw, yeah.
He's been watching some Shabazz Masood, I think.
It'd be sharper than that if you watch me.
But I'm never a fan of switching unless you can do it really well, because I always find if someone switches, you jump on them, because however offensively apt they are, it's usually defensively where they suffer.
Yeah.
So I was thinking,
Exactly
so when that's what it used to be years ago. But I mean, if someone switched, you jumped on them straight away. Because quite often, unless people like you do it naturally, but it's quite often a sign of running.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Stunning.
Bodywork again.
Left to the body from Callum Smith. Again, Carlos Galvan looks at us here at the commentary desk and gets to his feet. Again, can he replicate what he done in that fourth round and finish strong? But once again, I'll say it, Callum Smith, a very, very good finisher. He knows he can hurt Galvan to the head and to the body. Just biding his time, taking a second just to look for the shots.
Beautiful.
Yeah, lovely left to the body again from Callum Smith, and the referee waves it off as the towel comes in. Callum Smith back to winning ways, Barry.
Yeah, it was nice little work for him there. I thought he had a few rounds, I'd have a look at Galvin, had someone come to fire back. Took his time, didn't rush anything, was under no danger at all, was trying to force Galvin to come forward to get the gaps to do the work. And once he hurt Galvin, then he didn't rush it, but just went through the gears and got the finish in impressive fashion.
Yeah, he boxed beautiful there. Honestly, I think even as a fighter, you do want to get a few rounds in, especially when you've had a layoff. So I think that's doing a world of good as well. And then getting the finishing is just the icing on the cake.
And that's what it is, really. He's back. He's got the rounds. That's all he wanted. That win and that performance is not going to scare anybody at world level. Nobody's going to go ooh about that. It's just the work. He needed the work, and he got it. And
that was what it was. That was a run out, get under the lights again, and get back to winning ways as we look at the finish here, Barry.
And what we know with Callum Smith, and he's still there, his technique is really good. And a left hook is the weapon that's always got him out of trouble, or finish fights impressively. And that body shot was a superb shot. But he'd already had him on the rails at that point, and that was a really good finish. And a nice little workout there for Callum Smith.
It was, exactly that. Really, really good to see him back, full of ambition, gets the win there, gets his 30th win on the record, and yeah, some big names in this division. The domestic fight that we'd love to see, Joshua Boatsi, would really, really do numbers. He would get the juices flowing. The fights that this man here and his team relish, they live for. So I'm sure there'll be murmurs, there'll be talk of these big fights soon.
Yeah, and remember, he's earned so much money from that World Boxing Super Series. That even though he always wants to earn more money, of course, he never have enough. But I mean, he's earned enough now to be comfortable. So for him, it is about ambition. He does want to be a two-way world champion. He does want to be in big occasions, because as we all know as fighters, once you've been in one big fight, once you've had the crowd call your name, it's hard to let it go.
Yes.
But he's still fresh enough to be in competitive fights, still win it. And I still think, given the right opponent, he could win a world title.
100%. 100%. He's more than capable of winning another world title.
Well, yep, he gets his 30th win. Callum Smith. Let's hand back over to our MC, Mr. David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Kevin Parker calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 1 minute and 19 seconds of round number 5. Declaring your winner by TKO, Callum Mundo Smith.
Yep.